Yeah, because we're gonna all be there. What day is that, Rose?
July 7th.
I think I put that in my phone.
That was just fascinating to me.
Oh, yeah.
Find out all this information. So we
Hey, what did I miss?
what it was.
What did I miss on that? I enjoy sitting there and watching green stuff. The only thing I can't really look at is the bill list. That's hard to scroll. Documents? No, I just sat and read it. You know, my doctor's.
I take my.
I hear you.
They just, and I'm so homesick.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I can't grasp it.
Yeah, I mean, people, you have a family, exactly.
I agree with you there.
Without television poles, stay there, 2-3 foot of water.
This is a heck of a lot of reading.
It was.
Fever play at 7
And I
o'clock.
think they might have done that today. I was down there yesterday. You know, like, without the water slow.
Yes, that's where you want to
Pump somehow.
Are we gonna have a forum?
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody was.
We got it right now.
Right.
Oh.
Shane can, but this is all we have.
Guess we're dealing with 7 right now.
Where'd Terry go?
No, he's not.
It's hard to see you, Barb, I just had surgery.
Good to see all of you.
You can have the last one. Okay. I'll let you if you want.
How many fingers?
I'll let you talk if you want to.
All right, you're good.
I can legally
Legally
drive.
dry, so.
Check up.
Tell us.
Yeah, appreciate it. I'll just see the rep.
You know everybody else in the room.
Just let
So,
I know my
State rules on the board. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't
2 weeks for the first.
There is, they pulled that funding, and they also pulled
I'm
the
assuming my
vote
sister's.
access grant funding. Didn't tell anybody, just yanked it. Yeah. So now I'm working on a different,
Yeah, that's one.
it's for IDOT, not DNR.
Okay.
Working on that now, so.
Okay. I didn't hear anything from it.
Yeah, no, we had high hopes on that one, and then they pulled the funding last minute and didn't tell anybody, and it's been almost a year, we're like, hey, what's going on with this? Like, oh, they were just like, oh, well, thanks for letting me know, appreciate it, you know?
Okay.
It's like probably the first football game was that week or something.
the record has been the speed through the city of Claire, but they say those recently.
And I did get.
Not the ones on River Creek.
And I came off the I-80
I
bridge.
refused
Yeah.
because
You can refuse. My kids told me later that they didn't have to pay that. It's out of state. I didn't know that.
It's ordinance related, so it would be a collection, same thing that we would do here.
but here's my thing with that. If I serve anyone
No, that was just the business.
Yeah, let's go. Since you could say me. Pretty good yourself. I see you all over the place now.
Call over the council meeting for the city of Fulton. Tori, roll call, please.
Mayor Malone,
Here.
Alderperson Boonstra, Berggraf, King, Mask,
Present.
Ratcliffe,
Here.
Sewell,
Here,
Van Campen. There is a vacancy on the 4th ward, and we do have a quorum.
All right, join me in the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't have a presentation. First order of business is appointments. Looking for a motion to approve and vote with the advice and the consent of the council on the appointment of Mike Hopman to fill the vacant seat of the 4th ward. Motion, please. Second.
second.
Any discussion?
Can we know a little bit about Mike?
He's right there.
Hi, Mike. I'll ask you the same question that was asked to me. I was also appointed into my current position. Why are you putting yourself forward now versus going through, say, the election cycle?
It was just brought to my attention that you were needing to fill the spot, and I thought I'd put my name in the hat and see how it goes.
Okay. And I know that you have already spoken with Shane previously, and you know when we meet, and I think some of the things that come across with some people is just scheduling. It becomes a hassle. Not a hassle, excuse me, just being here as much as possible. So if you've already had that conversation with Shane, I feel comfortable.
Anyone else?
How long have you lived here, Mike?
It'd be 12 years this month. I'm originally from up by Dubuque, East Dubuque area.
So work brought you here?
Yep. I work for Joe Carroll Energy.
Anyone else?
Can you tell us about your family?
Yeah, I have a wife and 2 kids. My wife's a school nurse for Blackhawk Center in Silvis. My son Bo's 4, he's about to turn 5, and trying to get him in the Fulton School District this coming year. And then my daughter Shade is almost 2.5 now.
Okay. I was just curious if you had kids coming into the school district.
Yep.
Made a good choice there.
Anyone else? Roll call, please, Tori.
Alderperson Berggraf, King,
Yes.
Mask,
Yes.
Ratcliffe,
Yes.
Sewell,
Yes.
Van Campen, Boonstra, Mayor.
I'm voting. No. I mean, my vote is not no, I'm not voting. Just to make that clear.
So motion's carried.
Yes. Yeah.
Here.
Make a room for me.
Okay, raise your right hand. I, Mike Hopman, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Alderperson for the City of Fulton to the best of my ability. Do you answer?
Yes, sir.
And your
Did
signature.
you get a picture of them?
And then I
Get a
will
picture of them? Great, thanks.
you'll have a mail.
you know.
You may have a seat up here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
I will, give us this before today, okay? Okay, just follow along as we go here. All right, next, communication from visitors. We do have 3 visitors tonight. First is, Alex Barber. Sir, you have the floor.
Okay. Sorry, I'm still kind of. I sent an email earlier this month, June 9th, regarding the Flock ALPR automatic license plate reader cameras. It's included in the packet here, so feel free to read it, but I'd like to expand on it a little bit. Just give me 1 second here.
Where are those located at?
So there's one on the corner of 84 and Highway 30, just north of the railroad tracks.
Okay.
At the 4-way intersection, the Mass Circle 4-way intersection. Another one just north of the railroad tracks on 4th Street, Dakin Road. And then there's one on 84, right around Hunters 2, Old Hunters 2. I forget what it's called.
I guess I never paid
Tin
attention.
Shed, it's named Tin
Tin
Shed
Shed,
now, it's
yeah.
on Penrose.
Okay.
Off the left side, heading north. And I think there might be one more, I can't remember exactly. Anyway, my name is Alex Barber. I live here in Fulton on 17th Avenue. Some background on myself. I was a cryptologic technician for computer networks in the Navy Reserves for 6 years. So I have a decent understanding of the cybersecurity landscape regarding cameras, network interfaces, software, security, as well as the legal demands on intelligence gathering and searches and the laws surrounding that kind of work, as I worked in the intelligence community doing that exact kind of work under Title 10 and Title 50. I'll just try to read here because I'm a terrible public speaker. I apologize. So, Flock Safety markets their automatic license plate readers as an omnipresent tool to help stop crime. While they have had some success in their stated goal, there also have been many instances of incorrect identification, software and hardware security vulnerabilities, unencrypted data retention, and data retention over their stated retention timelines, and many other constitutional concerns which have been raised by many concerned residents of many cities. In fact, there have been over 50 cities nationwide that have revoked their Flock contracts and have either successfully or in part successfully removed cameras from their neighborhoods and towns and cities due to these concerns. Some hardware vulnerabilities include unsecured physical ports on the cameras that allow physical direct access to the software interface, and coupling that with unencrypted data retention, you will have access to all of the photos, the videos that have been captured on that device, albeit illegally, but it is available and unsecured. Flock does say that they secure these things. It's been proven time and again that is not exactly the case. Flock software interfaces can be easily found online via search tools such as Shodan.io. It's a website showing publicly available interfaces that will give you a login portal, of which oftentimes default admin credentials will work to access this interface. And again, view the unencrypted photos, videos that don't only track cars driving, but also do identify pedestrians walking, riding bikes, playing with their kids, walking their dog. Anyone, totally unsuspected of any crime whatsoever at any given point. So it's not just available to be accessed easily by authorized law enforcement officers. Searches by law enforcement officers often demand little to no accountability in the reason for the query, as shown by Flock's own publicly indexed searches, which was a security mistake by Flock accidentally indexing those searches to be found on web browsers like DuckDuckGo or Bing. It will show keywords related to the query, license plate number, and the reason, which is often simply, in quotes, INV, or investigation, or no reason specified whatsoever. Meaning these are unwarranted and fully unaccountable searches. Also, Fulton, or any town, honestly, does not control who accesses the photos or videos or any of the information that the Flock cameras gather. They don't control who accesses those that were gathered in the city of Fulton. Videos taken by the Flock cameras in our town. Searches can be made by any law enforcement organization that's in the Flock ecosystem, and critically, anyone who decides to bypass the weak system security of Flock. Searches have been made to track political protesters who have done nothing other than exercise their First Amendment rights. The Electronic Frontier Foundation in 2025 obtained records showing 12 million searches by 3,900 agencies and found that agencies had tracked people that attended political protests with no warrant for their arrest, no suspicion of a crime. They simply attended, a political protest or gathering and were later tracked. There's a Supreme Court case in 2018, Carpenter versus United States, where the Supreme Court held that long-term location tracking does require a warrant. And these systems are essentially just that, a long-term location tracking system that somehow doesn't require a warrant. That is still very much up in the air, as many lawsuits are currently ongoing. So I propose we suspend our contract with Flock Safety to at least, at the very minimum, review what is in our contract, Flock's promises to us, and what we're actually getting out of this contract with Flock. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't even know those were up.
Now you do.
Is that the same thing that Eau Claire had?
That speed cameras specifically.
They said speed. Oh.
They might have Flock too, I don't know.
Did we have to get permission to get that?
I don't know.
I don't have good questions to ask you, but I would like to refer this to our Public Safety Committee and have the police chief and the committee come back with additional information on it. I don't even have good questions to ask at this point because I don't know anything about this one.
I just have a couple questions.
For Alex?
Well, kind of.
Well, it's in discussion later in the packet.
Okay, then never mind.
Okay.
Next, we have Mr. Mike Ottens.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Mike Ottens, live in the 4th Ward. Don't have prepared comments, I'm just gonna talk off the cuff. What I wanna talk about is what I view as a diamond in the rough, and that's Cattell Park and the lack of water that's maintained in there. Now, I understand the flood control district manages, the water. And I'm not sure what has changed in the last decade with the flood control district. I do know, I'm just going from memory. Typically, there was water by Cattell Park down to the culvert right behind Harborcrest. And when that water is in there, you see kayakers, you see kids fishing. When the Cattell Park building is rented out, family reunions, whatever, holes are in the water, kids are looking at the water. And I'm not sure what has changed, and I'd ask the city to engage in a dialogue with the flood control district to say, can you do your mission but still maintain water, for the public, for Cattell Park, for the kids. I know for a fact, I can remember during COVID, so this was April, May, June 2020. My grandson, who was still in high school, him and his buddies, when school was kind of out, they were down there fishing every day. And they were fishing, there was plenty of water in there. I have noticed, like 2 weeks ago, it was just mud everywhere. Mud till the north side. The recent 7 whatever inches of rain, it did raise it up a little bit. And I'm not sure if they were pumping out, because I went and looked like Saturday and said, okay, there's, you know, these lily pads here. You know, there's a little bit of water, and after yesterday's rainfall, the water's actually less. So anyway, I'm just encouraging, because I think if the flood control district and the city can get together and say, can we keep, you know, whatever it is, 2 foot, 3 foot of water in there, and you can safely do your mission, and if there's projected rainfall, but you know, let's go from mud flat to water so that people can really enjoy. Kids will fish, kayakers will come. And when, like I say, when there's water in there, there are people down there. So I just encourage the city to open dialogue with the flood control and see what can be done, if anything. Thank you.
The timing is good, Mike, because we're just talking about upgrading the Cattail Park Pavilion. It gets a lot of use. I recently checked with the office about how every weekend in the summer it's used. Lots of parties and family functions out there, and so Kathy, I think you brought it up that it needed an upgrading. And so if you look in tonight's packet, you'll see we're buying a new stove and putting a new floor, and so your timing is good. And I'm happy to get your suggestion to check out why that, as long as I can ever remember up until the last 10 years, there was always water in the Cattail Bay there. So good question, and I think that would be a good initiative for us to reach out and find out.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Next we have Roy Abbott.
Good evening, and thank you for an opportunity to share with you tonight. As a lifelong resident, or nearly lifelong resident of Fulton, Illinois, I've spent a lot of time in and around our city. Our family's been living here for a good almost 50 years or so. And I've always been proud of our city and always enjoyed, I'm certainly glad that we raised our kids in Fulton and not somewhere in San Diego or California where I was in the military. I want to share a concern with you tonight. And frankly, this is the first time I've ever addressed the city council before. I've never attended your meetings or addressed the council in any way. I've lived here all of my life and never really felt like I needed to share a complaint or a concern. I've enjoyed living here, and I'm glad we did, or we have. But last summer, something began to develop, and I thought we were addressing it, and the summer came and went, the winter came and went, the spring came back, and here I am trying to address it again. And frankly, this is, I wasn't sure just where else to go. I'm here tonight to share a concern about the lack of care for our bike trail. The lack of care particularly for the foliage and the weeds and branches and things that grow up and over the bike trail. I consider it both cosmetic and safety in nature. Last summer, I brought my concern to the city in the way of talking with Mr. Sikkema. I had a couple of conversations with him. After the second time of not getting any results, I came actually down to the building to see who I could talk with and met Mr. Malone. Had a conversation with Mr. Malone, and we looked at his computer and looked at the area there that I was concerned with. We addressed it, and he said that he would take a look at it. And frankly, I don't really remember what happened, not much, over the course of the rest of last summer. But I run on that trail almost daily, including this morning. I took a 3-mile run on that trail. I run from my home to Penrose Road and back. And it's a good run. I enjoy running on it. I run on it almost daily. I go north when I go, although sometimes just to change it up, I'll go south. But I started seeing, just like my grass, the weeds beginning to pop up back in April. And by May, I was thinking, well, gosh, we're gonna have another concern. So I came down and I was gonna talk with somebody here at the building, and wouldn't you know, I ran into Mr. Malone again. And so I had a conversation with him, and he said that he would take a look at it and look into it. That same day, he responded back to me on May 6th that he'd spoken with Logan, who I've not met and don't know his last name, so I'll have to call him Logan. And that Logan would take care of the knocking the things down. He was brief in his message back to me, but he implied that it would be taken care of. Just about a week to a week and a half ago was the first time anyone has touched the weeds and the foliage on the trail. It's now grown to at least my height or over in some areas. Some of the branches that are growing from these weeds are growing up and over the trail. If you're on a bicycle and you're two abreast, somebody's going to have to move into the center just to try and avoid what's going on there. It's growing up and over. So not only is that a safety concern, but when people are visiting our town and they're riding through here and we want them to come and visit, I understand there may be a possibility of driving traffic downtown by building a route downtown. Whatever it is that we're doing, if we're trying to attract people, it's a mess and it's unsightly. If I go to the point where the township begins to take care of their portion of the trail, it's taken care of at least 5 to 6 feet on either side of the trail. Where in Fulton, the weeds are growing over the trail. So what the city is supposed to be maintaining is not getting maintained. There seems to be some discrepancy because just in the last week, again, someone has run a mower down along the bottom portion and mowed the bottom, not what's growing up and in, but at least along the bottom, to the point where back behind Harbor Crest, the old Harbor Crest, they've stopped where there are two sides of this happening. You'd have to go down. I've got dozens of pictures on my phone to corroborate this, but go down and take a look for yourself. There seems to be a stretch about 3/10 of a mile long from that point to adjacent to the Sportsman's Club, or where Mike was talking about, that no one's maintaining. Whoever mowed a week and a half ago along the trail stopped, and now there's 3/10 of a mile that's not maintained at all. I've been down here to the city hall a couple of times now, and I've spoken with Mr. Malone a couple of times, been assured that this would be taken care of. I've already mowed my lawn, my personal lawn, a dozen times, as have you. And this is the first time anybody's been down and whacked down what's growing along the trail. So I'm concerned. I didn't know for sure where else to go. I talked to my alderman, and he suggested that I address the city council, and so here I am tonight. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Roy.
Well, I suggest we refer that to Parks and Recreation Committee because Sue talks about the bike trail quite frequently. She's not here tonight. So I'd like to see them get referred to Parks and Recreation Committee so there is an action that follows.
Good, thank you.
Roy, I'm not sure for the delay this year when we spoke, but I do remember last year you came and we did go in my office and look at the computer, and at the time I was like, is this township or city? And then we determined that it would be looked at, and you came back the next week and you were like, hey, it's all cleaned up. That was last year, not this year, so I'll do some more homework on this year. See what
I think the
All right, I wanna
township
give credit-
recently got a grant. I think the township recently got a grant where they did some improvements on theirs, if I'm not mistaken. I think I read that in the paper.
I love to give credit where credit is due, and in the past, I've even used social media to thank our city for keeping it clean. It generally has been clean, And it's a delight to run on. It's very nice and comfortable to be on.
Thank you, Roy.
So, yeah, thank you.
Next, we have consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be enacted by a single motion and roll call vote. Any item may be removed upon request by the mayor or any alderman and considered individually after all other items of business on the consent agenda. We have approved the regular meeting minutes from June 8 City Council and approved the bill list. Motion, please. Second.
Second.
Discussion?
I have some questions on the bill list if I can.
You may.
I assume, yeah, this can be for PD, the closed trailer. I see charge at the very top for about 6,000 and another charge underneath for about 5,000. And would like to get a little clarity on that. I know we purchased a trailer last year, and this one, that was an open trailer. This one is obviously enclosed.
We didn't purchase a trailer last year.
No?
The PD did not. The city, did you guys get your big
That
trailer last year?
was
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Okay, well, I will have to go back and look at my notes. I was under the impression we purchased a trailer to haul the Nebeling car around for the purpose.
That was from the DUI fund. That was a donation.
Okay.
I see we made a payment for MSA, the organization who did our
Oh, I thought you
strategic
was
plan.
gonna,
No,
I
Yeah.
thought you was gonna
Okay.
address
Oh,
Zach's
yeah,
first.
Yep.
Could you,
And then as far as this, Zach,
Yeah.
so obviously the PD has the, our side by side.
Yep.
So this trailer was purchased using, some funds that were left over from a grant that we obtained from, Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board for recruitment.
Okay.
That's where the $5,176 comes from.
okay,
So that closes out that grant.
okay,
And then the other portion of those funds, the 6,142, was taken from the, drug fund. So,
just give me a refresher on what the drug fund, how we get, how money comes into
we
that?
get those from fees associated from arrests.
Okay,
So
rest we make specifically, or is it
rest that we
statewide
make,
share?
the rest that we make specifically.
Okay.
So those funds were all used for the purchase of that, and then again, at no cost to any taxpayers of the city of Fulton.
Or if you wanna go, I have another question
I
for
had
Chad.
one, oh, I had one for Chad. You finish.
The Taser 10 charge, you've spoken to this before, I believe. There is an upgrade, correct?
This was the upgraded one. Yep.
Okay, and we upgrade for every officer?
Yes, we did.
Okay,
Yep. So we last year, we continued our contract. It was a little bit of an increased fee, but we upgraded our Taser 7s to the Taser 10. This is our annual payment to Taser for the,
we rent them?
no, we purchased them.
Okay. You just said annual payment.
Yeah, it's an annual payment for software, all that associated.
So
We
this
get
will be
refills
every
in
year?
that?
Yes, it does. This one actually does include cartridges, so we just send them if we were to use a cartridge. In the event we were to use a cartridge in call for service, we let them know what we use and they'll send us replacements.
So this is not directed at you, but more of a general statement. I know that we have contracts with certain vendors, right? And I know that that might conflict with some of our new purchase agreement statements. You know, anything over $2,000 is supposed to be getting comparisons on. You know, as we move forward on these purchases, you know, I would like to, you to push back on the vendors or any contracted vendor that we have.
Oh, yeah, like this.
And that's not just for you.
Right, no,
I say in general.
actually, I just talked to this vendor the other day because obviously we have 3 different Axon contracts.
Okay.
We have a fleet contract for the cars, we have a body contract for our body cameras, and we have a Taser contract.
Okay.
I tried to get them to put it all together, but it was gonna cost me more money, so I said, leave everything at work.
Okay.
So, but then again, like I said, not that it affects the Taser so per se, but we did this last year get that grant for $11,000 to help offset our body cameras and our field cameras, so.
I remember that.
So we're still, and we'll obviously apply for that again this year to try to keep costs down.
Thank you.
Chad, I just had one on that second page there about, there was a Swan car,
Yep.
and it was 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
Is that on one of our new vehicles?
No, that was on 102, that was, the 3 problem childs that we have for the black cars, 101, 102, and 103, that should be the last of the problem problem children, so, hopefully we're all good to go.
So I'm glad that you pointed it out like that, because as I was reviewing these notes, one of the ones I brought up, I don't believe it was the last bill list, I believe it was the 26th of May bill list. We had another, no, is it?
I think it was.
There's like 5,000 or a little under 4,000?
Yeah, that would have been for 103, I believe. Like I said, that was 101, 102. No, that was 101, I believe. I can't keep track, but.
So am I looking forward to whatever one we're missing next month?
That should already be all taken care of. 1, 2, and 3 should be taken care of, so.
Now, you obviously have them numbered like that. What years are these? Do you know off the top of your head?
All 3 of those are the 2021s. Those were the first 3 cars that we had purchased. Again, those cars were only designed, in theory, we're only gonna be kept for 3 years. Now we're pushing 5 on them.
Okay.
And then Eric, I had one for you on the MSA, and here tonight, the payment is 4,000 something. What was the total cost on that? Was this just our final payment, or?
This should be our final payment on that.
Okay.
I think the total cost on that was just shy of 12,000, if I remember correctly.
And you stated when I asked on the last monthly bill list that that this was a requirement from the state of Illinois?
It's actually from the US EPA, so any system that is bigger than 3,300 people has to have a risk and resiliency plan in place.
How long is this plan good for?
So this plan, now that we have it in place, we will just have to update it yearly, but this should be, assuming no major changes, should be good for the foreseeable future.
And the updates are something that you can do, or is this something that you have to engage MSA
So
with?
it's, if contacts have changed, as municipal officials rotate in and out, we have to update those. So yeah, it's all stuff that we can do ourselves.
But the total amount's more than less than 12, let me know.
Yeah, I would have to look, but I don't, that's.
Now that we're going to have this come to the public, they're gonna ask, what was the total cost on that?
Yeah, it was right around 12,000.
Okay.
I have 2 more on the bill list. And Eric, if you don't know this, we can come back later with the response. It says lighted sign under ComEd, 3,300.
That is our electronic sign out at 10th Avenue and 84th. For some reason, they didn't send us a bill all last year.
Okay.
And then, so we got one bill for all 12 months.
Are we getting billed for the one down here off the bridge?
So that one is.
Or is that tied into something else?
That one is actually through the meter for that building. We
Through
ran
the public works?
Yep.
Okay. So, bear with me for a second. We're paying like $300 a month to light that thing?
Probably with the minimum charge plus whatever power usage there is. And then they charge you to run the power over to it as well.
Okay. That's an expensive sign.
Well, and they say social media, so it'd go because it's free.
That's different.
All right, and then the last question, I don't know if you want to answer this for Logan, it has public works supplies in the amount of $2,628, almost towards the bottom of page 9. Is that something specific?
I believe that was our Ferguson bill for restock for our water system.
Okay.
Water clamps, scorps, stuff like that.
And this is a bunch of individual pieces of equipment?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I had.
I have one. So I'm just kind of curious on the garbage refuse, the 28,000 for the monthly charge. I know last month we had quite a bit of errors per se. Do they give us credit at all, or how does that?
Nope.
I didn't like that answer.
Oh, sorry.
I always like the answer.
Something that we can look at for the next chance
It's,
to bid
it's
that
all
out.
things we just have to keep in mind when we go into our
Negotiations.
request for proposals for next year, because our contract is up in 2027. Just remember, some of the missed items and things like that are all things we want to keep in mind moving forward.
Do we tally that? Do we keep a running tally?
That would be a long tally.
But we do have options, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, just because I had a few phone calls and I'm like, just call them.
It's unfortunately, when you call Republic, it goes to a call center down in Phoenix, and they don't necessarily relay the information back to Clinton. So if people are reaching out to you, have them reach out to us so that we can get a hold of Republic, because we have direct contact over to Clinton, so where we can get some of these issues taken care of. But if they're calling the 800 number that Republic has on their website, it goes to a call center, and more times than not, it does not make its way to Clinton.
We'll have to deal with it for, the rentals.
Yep.
I have an email of the lady that I just contacted. Yeah, you're right. It's very difficult to.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? I don't want to address the statement here on page 4. I don't know if Alderperson Mask said this or not, but I believe we haven't updated information on the statement here, third one from the bottom. She had made mention that the fact that the drone company would not cancel in the event of inclement weather. That is true, they will not cancel. The city has to be the one to cancel the event. In the event the city cancels, the show will be rescheduled. That's incorrect. If the city cancels the event is canceled and there's no refund. If the city postpones the event, then we have 6 months and go from there. So I just want to make that clear. Right,
Cancel.
that's right, Barb, right?
Yes.
We're not canceling.
We've got the contract signed.
And then
No, you don't have the contract signed.
I was gonna get it from you Friday, or he was gonna send it to you on Friday? I have not seen it.
He sent it to Terry.
Well, that's not part of what we're talking about
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
Let's.
Then we have a corrected copy of the minutes here for the official packet. On page 5, it states that it was recommended by Alderperson Burgraff that we could use the $800 access level for this year. Actually, if you watch the meeting, it said Alderperson Burgraff asked Mayor Malone if he had a recommendation on which level we would like to see the city of Fulton sign up for Grow Clinton membership. So she did not make the recommendation. She asked me for my recommendation. And then I stated that he would go with the access level $800 membership. He said it's the level of support we've used from the past year, and there was no objection to the council on that recommendation. So just correct those.
So you need a motion to,
No, it's correct, it's corrected before before we vote. But, well, I do have a correction. Well, did you fix that as well on page 8? On page 8, this has already been corrected as well. Where I'm asking to adjourn the meeting, it just says Alderperson Burgraff second. Alderperson Ratcliffe actually made the motion, and it was missing from the minutes, so Tori added it to the minutes. So these will be the official corrected copy.
So we're voting on the minutes as amended.
Yes, these corrected copy that I just read. And the bill list. Anyone else? Roll call, please, Tori.
Alderperson Boonstra, Burgraff, King,
Yes.
Mask,
Yes.
Ratcliffe,
Yes.
Sewell,
Yes.
Van Campen, Hoffman,
Yes.
All right, next we have a motion to approve and vote on Mayor Shane Malone and City Administrator Eric Sickema to attend the IML Annual Conference to be held September 17th through 19th, 2026 in Chicago. The cost for the registration is $325 a person and $289 per night for the hotel, for a total cost of $2,026.16. Motion, please. Second.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a question. What fund are you guys gonna post to pay for that with?
We'll probably actually split it amongst multiple,
The general
yeah.
fund?
Yep. And then actually, part of this can be reimbursed or paid for through TIF funds because one of the main topics I would like to listen in on is about TIF. Pretty much all day Thursday, a lot of the topics I'm going to sit in on are about the TIF district and extending and different uses you can have for it. So our TIF fund can help pay for some of that as well.
I'm happy both of you are going, but I would have liked to seen an alderperson go or the city attorney, and then one of you, rather than both of you going from the administrative level. It would have been nice if an alderperson could have been invited, or if the city attorney would like to go. But I'm happy you're going, because
I don't have to go.
I've been to those conferences, and they're really worth your while in going. It's good information.
When's the last time anybody from Fulton Council or personnel has attended the IML meeting?
It would have been, Wendy was the last one to go.
3 years ago, 2 years ago?
I wanna say it was like 2021, 2022.
I've gone several times when I came on. It's good information, valuable for us to have that brought back to us.
I didn't ask to go last year because I didn't want to spend the money. But Barb made the recommendation that I might attend, so.
I think you should go.
There's
I'm in favor.
so many classes that are offered, it's hard to
I'll
spread
second
around.
Anyone else? Roll call please, Tori.
Alderperson Boonstra, Burgraff, King,
Yes.
Mask,
Yes,
Ratcliffe,
Yes.
Sewell,
Yes.
Van Campen, Hoffman,
Yes.
All right, next we have a motion to approve and vote on cattail improvements. Motion, please. Second. No second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes. I would like it to be postponed until we figure out what's going on with those floodwaters. Because the whole purpose of having that whole thing down there is that's one of the huge attractions, you know? And I don't wanna, with the Parks Recs money, like the $7,000 to 11 or whatever, I can't remember which exactly it was, you know, put that in there if we're not gonna be able to utilize it the way that we
Good point.
have been, or the whole idea of it. So I still want it done, you know, everything fixed down there, but I would like to wait until we meet with the flood people or whatever and see what we can do about actually getting water back into the cattail area, so it keeps on drawing the people. Cause that was the whole purpose of that whole area down there. That's just me.
well, that flood district does control the water level. They do control it.
Yeah, but, as,
Well, that's why the conversation has to be with them.
that's what I'm saying, so I would like to wait until we hear from them and see, because it's, if they're not gonna do anything, then I just don't see.
Why invest it?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off.
I'm done talking.
Okay. I have two questions. Logan, if you could bring to us a summary of all the expenses and line item out instead of the the pictures, which I believe were in the last, bucket. Yeah, they're in this one. Just a summary list. Like I see,
One page.
yeah, 7,507 on one.
Yep.
You know, as I'm going through this one. 775 on another, 280 on one. 640, but I believe the 640 is just a comp for the stove. That's correct. You're not putting two stoves in there, are you?
Nope.
Okay. I didn't know, maybe the potlucks were getting busy over there, I don't know. Yeah, just to have a summary, and then my follow-up question to that would be, where are these funds coming from? What?
The park.
Video gaming.
But they're not in the budget, correct? This will be coming from reserves?
There is money in video gaming for park improvements.
Okay. Okay, I see it here, 50,000, now would be coming out of that number?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, if we can just have that total, that'd be absolutely great.
If I hear Kathy right, you are motioning to table.
Yeah, but Keith already motioned, I didn't.
It's okay, you can
Yes.
motion to table if you
Yes,
want a
please.
motion to table.
Do I get to say point of order?
No, I mean, you can always say that, but
Now that you've given us that raise.
we have a motion to table. Do we have a second?
Yes.
All right, we're voting to table this item. Roll call please, Tori.
Alderperson King,
No.
Mask,
Yes.
Ratcliffe,
Yes?
Sewell,
Yes.
Van Campen, Boonstra, Burgraff, Hoffman.
Yes.
All right, motion's tabled
It's
for the
timing
next
of Mike
meeting.
coming in and talking about it was just.
Yeah, it worked well.
Really well.
All right, next we have a discussion for compensation resolution, page 27 through 29. Zach, can you talk about this?
Absolutely. So, about the time we started discussing the carpenters union, going through that process, Eric, myself, and Mindy had a conversation on how to handle the non-union employees, and I believe that we have 4 of them, and to get a formal standard for putting it on the agenda for the council. I had Rebecca look into this. She initially wrote up a draft, did some back and forth on that, and this is the draft that we came up with. Specifically, if you want to look on the bottom, it gives us some options. This is for full-time, non-union employees, specifically as they stand now would be what we refer to as our management. We could, and this will be a vote annually, 3% or this COLA increase given to Social Security is known as CPIW. B, an award and compensation of said employee in any amount that the council should determine. Or C, choose not to award an increase in compensation to said employee. This would not circumvent any previously made offers in an offer letter. If there was one, this would be discussed initially in February. That would give us time because we're going to be going over the budget for the coming year, and those raises would go into effect on May 1st in accordance with our fiscal year. I do want to add one point, and maybe I didn't see it in here. I'd like us, and this will give us a chance to amend this, is making sure that 1 full year of employment is the standard. So somebody isn't coming in January and getting a raise in May.
So all 4 of these individuals would receive the same benefit increase.
That's
There
correct.
wouldn't be any individualization.
That's correct.
What's the amount?
What's that?
There before it was whatever COLA was or 3% the lower.
So, and Rebecca added in, or an option to go with whatever the council would like, or not anything at all. The point of.
I think what we ought to look at, and some of the towns are doing this now, are like the police chief and the deputy chief, they would get whatever FOP got. Okay, so if FOP got 3%, they get 3%. If FOP got 5%, they would get 5%. And then the other ones would be under the carpenters, whatever the carpenter union got. Because why should I give them less of a pay raise when the people working under them are getting a bigger pay raise? Pretty soon we're gonna have employees working under the department heads making more money than what we're making, that they're making.
Sure.
So how is that fair? They're the ones that are managing, taking care of. Show me a company where a manager or someone, salary personnel up in the chain is making less money than what the employees on the floor are making.
I think there's a lot of specific industries that
I
are
think
like that.
this resolution's stupid. I don't think, we don't need a resolution to remind us that in January we start talking about pay raises.
Okay.
I don't understand the reasoning behind a resolution. Okay, and we shouldn't be put some type of limit on it. Because if Eric's doing a great job and is going above and beyond, why are we limiting what he can get? Let's give him what he deserves. Okay? Why do we need some piece of paper to sit here and say, oh, hey, in January, remember to do the pay raises? Why? Why do we need a piece of paper to limit what we can give them? If we feel they only need 3%, then we give them a 3% raise. This is a waste of paper right here. That's all it is. I mean, there's no reasoning, valid reasoning behind getting this, putting this in place. It's not needed. If you have to have a resolution to remind you to give your employees a pay raise every year, you're not a very good owner or manager.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? Why didn't the council vote on a raise last year?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
But this is, in part of last year, could have been the chaos that was going on around here. Right? It should be just part of and known. We start talking, one of the first things we do when we start talking about the budget is what pay raise are we gonna give those 4 individuals? That should just be an automatic. You need a piece of paper to remind you of that every year?
I would like to be formalized, yes.
I don't think we need it.
You don't think we need to have that
I don't
formalized?
think it needs to be formalized.
Okay. I believe there's some policies that we've gone on that are just been word of mouth passed down from council to council with nothing backing it up.
But
The
here's
purpose
the
of
thing.
this was to
The idea
formalize it.
is, we really don't have to vote on their pay raises until before May. The idea to put it in January is so we can budget it for the following year.
Right.
Why do we need a piece of paper that has to go through all this hassle?
What
to
hassle
remind
does-
us to do that.
What hassle does it add other than voting on it?
Voting on it, having written up, all this other stuff. I'm sure it wasn't written up for free, even your draft.
No,
It's
sure it
not
wasn't.
something that we need. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. We don't need this piece of paper to tell us every year that we need to give these guys a raise.
Okay.
And
So
I'm
again,
sure
I'll
if we
ask you,
forget,
why didn't we
they're
do it
gonna-
last year?
I'm pretty sure that if we forget, they'll tell us.
And they did. And we put, the finance committee determined that putting forth a resolution to have a reminder for the council was the best way to move forward, and that is our
It's a waste
recommendation.
of time and money.
Okay.
That's all it is a waste. If we can't remember, then something's wrong with us and we need to resign.
Okay, you just stated last year that there was something wrong with us then, because we didn't do it.
Right.
Okay,
It should
so
have been
let's
brought
put it
up.
into resolution.
We don't need it in a resolution.
Okay, I disagree.
Anyone else have an opinion?
We go to some system, I got one more thing.
Okay.
we go to some system, like some towns are using, where the chief of police gets the same, and the deputy chief gets the same as the FOP, and Eric and Logan get the same as the carpenters union, we never even have to vote on it or worry about it. It's automatically done.
How would that be documented?
It's just written in there. You could write it in there.
In the FOP contract?
They call it a Me Too clause.
Yeah.
Okay.
So why not use something along those lines?
I don't know.
Why can't we?
We could, that's why
I
we're
mean,
discussing.
then you're not giving, I mean, how do you think the chief of police feels if we give him a 3% raise this year and his guys get 5%? Same along the lines of the public works director.
Well, I don't wanna
Are we
speak,
saying that the employees, the union people are more important than our supervisors?
Not at all.
If you give them a lesser raise, what are you saying? You're saying the same thing.
I'm not saying the same thing. The union contracts dictate what raises they get. Our non-union people do not have that, and there's no contracts that any of them hold.
But here's
So
the
we go
problem,
by
Zach.
it on an
They're not-
individual
Here's
yearly
the problem,
basis.
Zach. They're not allowed to be in the union. Or I bet they would be, because then they wouldn't have to worry about
Could they have a contract of employment though?
it. We
Yes.
voted out contracts because they got us in trouble. It cost us money. Because contracts weren't done right. If we go to the Me Too clause, as Eric just said, then they know what they're getting. They can plan for what they're getting. We can plan for what we're getting with the budget. It's an easy process. And we don't waste time trying to figure out what we do.
It's another option.
Simple. I think we go with the Me Too clause instead of this resolution. That's my opinion.
What would, Eric fall under then?
Eric?
City administrator?
It'd be the same thing as what we could talk about. He'd probably fall under Public Works because they seem to pick up the employees here at City Hall. FOP covers only police officers, so you put 2 under Public Works, which would be Logan and Eric. And the police department would be the deputy chief, and the chief would get what the police department gets. It just makes sense, it makes it simple, and we ain't having long discussions on what we should give them.
So let's just go down
It makes it easy
that
for
thought
us to
process.
budget it down the road too.
If that were the case and there's going to be new contracts come up, obviously I think that would preclude any of these people from being part of those negotiations because they would in fact then be negotiating for their own raise.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Did you initiate this out of finance, Zach?
What's that?
Did this?
This came out of finance, yes.
Why don't you go back with what Keith has pointed out, and go visit at your committee and then follow up with us?
Okay.
I think there's merit, and some merit in what you're saying. I also agree with Keith, so that would help. Maybe you could go back and discuss it. And then you'd have some of the employees probably at your meeting and give a little more clarification. This is being brought. So
Anyone else?
So table that?
I'm not gonna take
Well,
a
discussion.
discussion.
I refer it back to the committee, right?
It's a discussion item. I'm just asking if anyone else has any other discussion.
Keith can make a motion, but
Any other opinion?
I just wanted to go back to the committee.
It's not under there for a motion.
Right. All right, next we have, discussion on ordinance repealing and replacing chapter 111 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Alcoholic Beverages, page 30 through 56. We have, some notes here from the liquor committee and then the, ordinance itself. Terry's not here. Keith or Kathy, did you want to speak about this or?
I wasn't at the last one, I was sick.
Okay.
Well, this
Just
is
a
an awful
packet.
lot of material to digest. I mean, is this?
Yeah.
tell
this is
me-
the current, I'm sorry.
This is the current draft.
start.
This is a lot of information to absorb.
If I may, this was the
Yeah.
draft that was prepared based on the work of First Liquor Committee.
Yes.
To update our ordinance.
That
with
was my
things that
question.
we have not been matching up with the state with. And some different laws that have gone in place since our last ordinance, which I think went back to 1984. Had been passed, and then it does contain classes that you passed last summer, which is what is mainly under discussion.
The current liquor committee didn't talk about this part, but that's what I was kind of baffled at.
What's that?
What I understood, unless I didn't understand the.
Well, we just want to get the draft in front of the council. And the minutes that were taken, last meeting, it was just mention of going towards like a gaming license and then, you know. So that is currently not in this draft, but the draft is here tonight for discussion. I went through it, I can share my notes if you'd like.
Yeah, if you.
Okay. On page, and I don't know the answers to these, but on page 34, it says resident manager about.
I've got that highlighted too, because I.
Okay, resident manager means a person who is a resident of the city. Okay, I'll just stop right there, because if you go.
It should be county, but we updated it.
Okay, so if you go over to, yeah, on page 41, it says city or county, so I just wanted to point
It
that
should be
out.
county, be confirmed with the state that a resident manager could be a manager of, a resident of the county or the city.
Okay, so that,
And that's the
Can be
person who
added.
has to go through a class or get approved.
That's the person who, if the owner of the business is not a resident of the city or the county, that is, they have to have a resident manager who is in charge of the establishment,
Who is?
who does meet those requirements. That's state
how
law.
we had it before. So
That's
what
a
changed
state
in this?
thing. That's new from the state.
I just noticed it was missing, so. On the bottom of page 8, it just says Division 2 license. I don't know what that is.
It's just the next section.
Page 8. Oh,
It's just the next section. It's just the header section. It's just
Okay.
paginated weirdly.
it was just above the page number and it was the only place I noticed it, so.
So Rebecca, when you revise this, is there any way that you can give us in color what you're changing? Because
This is a whole new ordinance part.
nothing is, yeah, right. I mean, when I read through this, this is like nothing really that I thought we had before. So you're saying this is all brand new?
You're asking me to type out the old ordinance and then.
No,
do
I'm
a
just,
comparison?
didn't realize that the old one was completely disregarded, so I was trying to fit in.
Well, not all of it was, but it updates.
But how do
a lot of
I know
things
that?
were
What
the
got
same
changed
back.
then?
I'm sorry?
How do I know what got changed then, if you kept some of the old and I spent a lot of time on this looking, just try to fit everything in and what got changed, and I wasn't able to do that.
The old one's online.
But you're asking me to
Are
approve
you
something I
asking,
don't
are you
understand.
asking for Renee and I to sit down and make a notation, like an itemized list of all the changes?
How many are there?
Quite a few.
Well, then we're gonna have to spend some time on this document.
Well, that's why it's for discussion. It's not for vote tonight. It's.
I
it's just to
realize
talk
that, but
about.
even trying to discuss it, can't we break it down into a reasonable section? I mean, how can we discuss 30-some pages here?
So to be clear, this is the ordinance that was put into place last year,
No.
or
No,
No,
there,
only the classes. You amended your old ordinances to change the classes and the numbers.
Yeah,
And some of the requirements for the classes. This is adding some additional things. It's updating some things so that they're in compliance with state law. It's adding the VASTA training requirement, which it's been state law since 2018, but which was not in our code.
okay.
It's clarifying some things on the special event licenses.
So we're gonna be voting on the state requirements regardless of if we decide to add in, and like the G license, for example.
Yes, most of what your changes would be to that section.
Like you'd be coming to us
111.25,
anyways, if there's a state
45,
requirement that came down
Yes.
and said, hey, you need to put this into your policy because it's a state requirement.
Well, that would help,
Like-
just knowing that
Like
list.
that first one I mentioned, county. It can be county. It probably needs to be added, you know.
Or before it was just city, they had to be in the city limits.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can see on page 41, under A1, it says City of Fulton or Whiteside County, so that matches. Rebecca might know this answer, but on 41, number 2, a person who is not good character and reputation in the community, who determines that?
Yeah, I didn't understand that one either.
I believe they took that straight out of the.
I know, I'm just curious, who determines
I think
that? Is
that-
it the liquor commissioner
I think that is determined by if they have some kind of felony record.
or? Okay.
Can we make it more specific?
Well, it's number 3, it spells it out, but number, convicted of a felony.
So, there is at least one person.
Mayor,
Some of this.
I just tried to confirm with Eric real quick. I believe the police department was doing backgrounds on people that applied for the liquor license and did their fingerprints and all that kind of stuff, so that would be,
Legally, we have to.
yeah.
Okay.
That's part of that area of that.
On page 46, under C, it says Class B license which shall authorize retail sale of beer and or wine for consumption
Should be off.
off premises. Okay, it just says of. Okay,
And every tavern in town can sell off, right? Every tavern can sell for you to take home.
No.
No, you can't.
you need a B.
If I go into Johnny's, I can buy a 6-pack and take it home.
There's a
Or
difference between a
Danielle's.
B and a B1.
Johnny's has an A.
That's
They
covered.
can do
Sale
everything.
on premises while you,
Sale on premises for consumption on or off.
and off.
A Class B bar is a license to basically sell beer and wine, but not the harder liquors.
Like the gaming. That's Julie's. Beer and wine. Yeah, take it out there.
On page 48, under number 5, the fees, I just noticed it was extra $25 on Sunday. Is it,
That was in the existing ordinance.
okay. Do we want to charge $25 for a Sunday?
It's just been there. It's just
Okay, caught my attention. On 49, under L, I see the class A, A1, or B1. But then when I go to L number 1, it just says A or B1. Should A1 be included there?
We had that in there, and Renee asked me to take it out because that's not what they had talked about in the discussion. They had just talked about a business plan, not actually having to put it in writing.
Well, that's a change from what we
Oh,
had.
so the A1 does not need a in-writing business plan. But the A and the B1 do.
Yes, that's the gambling one.
Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha.
A1 is a liquor store,
And
but in
then
Hamlet.
on number 4, are we asking for projected gross revenue of the business?
That's up to the council. Oftentimes that would be part of the business plan.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we need to look at this more.
I did.
For that.
Okay, these are, well then, at least take notes of what I'm saying so you can go back and look at it.
I think she means the committee should take some more of a look at it.
That's what I was.
More of a look at this.
Shane, do you know when the next meeting is for the special liquor committee?
I do not.
That's
Do
key.
you?
You said Shane.
I know, I said Shane, but I was looking at Keith.
Nobody said Keith is the one.
We don't know yet.
Okay.
You have another meeting planned?
All right.
We're trying to get all our schedules to match.
And it's you and Terry?
And Kathy.
I can make anything basically work. I said I can make anything basically work.
On page 54, under general restrictions, within 100 feet of church, school, hospital, home of the aged, veteran?
That's in the state law.
Oh. Is it a problem if a veteran lives like above a bar?
It's in the state law, they list it for, you're talking about like a senior of the
Oh,
nursing
I thought it
home
was
type
a
thing.
military veteran. Sorry.
No, it's not a personal home of a veteran, it's
Okay, my mistake.
a nursing care facility or VA hospital.
On page 55 under B, I think it's a typo. At the bottom of B, it just says remove
Yep,
any intoxicated.
should be any.
Copy. Those are notes I made. Maybe Tori will get some good minutes for us then on my notes, and then we'll have it in the next packet for discussion for. Then you'll have more time to review it.
And Keith, just as a refresher from our last meeting, the G license would be automatically given to any current video game license holder immediately. And then any new applicant would have to wait that 6 to 12 months.
I think that's kind of what we're.
That's kind of what
It's been discussed.
Yes, grandfather.
It's being discussed exactly on the.
How the existing would get in there.
Yeah, grandfather in.
Grandfather, and that's what I would assume. I just,
And then they would grandfather, like the year wait would be grandfathered in for somebody that's had the license for a year already. We're not gonna penalize them, make them wait another year. So
they've had a license already but not had video gaming?
Yeah, there's some.
Okay.
Explain to me about this proof that you're gonna have when somebody's been in business for 6 months or a year.
Proof?
Yeah, how do you determine whether somebody is?
Been in business for 6 months?
No, well, I know they've been in business, but you're saying that's going to give you ample time to determine if they really are functioning as they said they were going to. And then how do you, what is that determination? Is this how much money they're making? Or what's your objectivity list there about whether somebody is or qualifies?
I think it's got to do a lot with, they say they're gonna put a bar in.
Right.
Bars in. Not just 2 years later, they're just starting to build it. That type of thing.
Following the business plan that they suggested that they wanted to.
Yeah. It's,
So, yeah.
in other words, what we're trying to prevent would be, you want them to be in business and established and running good for a year. At 6 months, they can start the process of trying to get a G license to that. And it gives you a chance to make sure that, okay, they have been up and running. That's what it means, is that they're up, running, and doing what their plan says they were gonna do.
It also gives them a chance to prove their business, that they don't have to rely on video gaming to be financially prudent or financially successful.
Thank you, Zach, that was the other part of it too.
We've never had anybody come in who doesn't want it because their business dependent. The last gentleman we had here.
Sure,
I
and that would
asked him,
be,
can't you do it without? And he said no.
that would address the concerns.
It would.
So then they wouldn't be eligible for it.
But that's the proposed change, prove that you have a business that can run on its own 2 feet without having video game being there solely to support it.
So give me an example of what a business might look like that comes in and wants can make a business go on its own.
I can give you, Barrick when he came in. There is no license to give him right now.
Right.
So he, I
But
think
he
it was,
chose not to do it. I asked him that, if he would start. without the liquor, and he would, the game without gaming, and he would not.
He would not, because his only option was a restaurant, and he doesn't want to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
This frees
You
up.
can't start it
This
without a
would-
liquor license.
This could free up and recategorize other establishments where an A may come open, but he doesn't get the G that's not created yet. And then he comes in with this plan that he gave us, which was a solid plan, but hey, did you put the golf tees in yet? No, I have not. Okay, then don't come and ask for gaming yet, we want you to follow your plan that you presented to us, not, I'm gonna do dartboards, pool tables, golf tees, okay, here's your gaming license, and you go over there and nothing's set up except gaming. That's what I think the goal is
Yeah, that was the goal.
a good example.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Or a restaurant that maybe he's not sure that they're gonna get the 50-50.
Just have a lot of people
Or is it
come up there.
60-40?
60%.
It might not, maybe they're 50-50 and they're not sure they can get that 60% threshold. They still have a successful food business. They want us to be able to sell beer and wine or whatever.
That was the other category, was the restaurants. They get up, established and running, things are going good. We can see that they're getting 60% under the food. Okay, then you get your G.
I appreciate the discussion that you guys are having. I know that a lot of time was spent on the previous modifications, but I still think that there should be a potential path down the road for a business that's established themselves in Fulton.
And we have to have a full console when we have this discussion.
Okay. Next item for discussion is the Flock ALL PR cameras. You have an email here on page 57 from Alex Barber, who spoke tonight as well.
I didn't know what they were. I thought they were just speed traps, like in clear, but this is something different.
Did they have to get permission to, I just don't remember anybody ever talking about that they were gonna put in.
They did them, what, 3 years ago?
That sounds about right.
I think it's 3.
Yeah.
We discussed it and we voted on it.
I'm sure. I mean, we would have to have signed a contract.
Yeah, I mean, I know we signed the contract, I don't remember, that would have had to have come from in front of the council.
Yeah.
But that was before I was in this position, so I don't exactly remember.
Do you remember it, Keith?
Yeah, I think he did come to the council. I don't know if it was one of those straw poll things, that he was gonna do it, or he wanted to do it, or if it was an actual vote.
Is there any way to search our historical meeting minutes and search the word flock cameras?
Yes.
Is there? Can I ask that be tasked? I'm kind of curious. We talk about, well, we think there was a vote and it wasn't. I'm curious if there was a vote.
It was just an unusual name that I think some of us would remember it popping up for discussion. I certainly didn't know what it did, what all it did.
I know we talked about it.
Sure. And we've talked about it here because I've asked Chad about, some of the associated costs with it before. And Chad, correct me if I'm wrong, we have 5?
We have 5.
Okay.
And can you give me an example of how you use it to be?
Well, actually, Officer Boonstra is here. He is my resident flock expert, so he's got
Wow,
prepared.
even an
I
expert.
don't know about an expert, but utilize it. But we utilize it for several things. I am going to give you one brief example of the most recent time it was used. It was just used on Saturday. We received a notification of a vehicle with a suspended registration. The vehicle was stopped. Driver did not have a driver's license. Driver was wanted out of a different county. Driver had possession of a controlled substance, and driver had a handgun that was modified, did not have a serial number on it. Coming right through Fulton. He's now in the Whiteside County Jail. Example of how flock works. But Officer Boonstra has more details on how we use it. That's just the most recent that just happened Saturday.
Can we ask questions, Mr. Boonstra?
Yeah.
Discussion.
He's got a statement, I believe.
If you mind, I'll read this out.
Yeah, come on up.
Okay.
You sit in your brother's seat.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about flock safety cameras and how they are being used to improve public safety in our community. Whenever newer technology is introduced, questions naturally arise about privacy, government oversight, and how the technology is actually being used. Those are important conversations to have, and I believe the public deserves clear and honest answers. One of the biggest misconceptions about flock cameras is that they are constantly tracking people's movements or acting as surveillance cameras. That is simply not the case. Flock cameras do not continuously record video. They do not create live feed that officers sit and watch. Instead, the camera captures a still image or snapshot of a vehicle as it passes the camera location. Importantly, the camera does not provide officers with the registered owner's information, driver's license information, address, phone number, or any other personal identifying information. Occupants of the vehicle are typically not visible in the image under certain lighting conditions or camera angles. An occupant may be partially visible, but those images are generally blurry and are not being used to identify drivers or passengers. The purpose of the system is to identify vehicles, not people. A vehicle only becomes searchable when a law enforcement officer initiates a search for a specific license plate or a vehicle description as part of an investigation. The system does not automatically follow vehicles or map citizens' daily routines. Another point that is important to address is the distinction between the flock camera system utilized by the Fulton Police Department and other products offered by the company. Flock Safety does offer an AI-powered camera system known as the Flock Condor. Unlike traditional license plate reader cameras, Condor is capable of detecting, identifying, and tracking objects, vehicles, and pedestrians as they move through an area. However, those cameras are not utilized by the Fulton Police Department or are not deployed within our area. The cameras currently utilized by the Fulton Police Department are license plate reader cameras only. Their function is to capture a still snapshot of a passing vehicle and its license plate. They do not record continuously, they do not track pedestrians, and they do not follow individuals as they move throughout the community. Since installation of flock camera system in Fulton, the cameras have just year to date. The cameras have captured more than 2 million vehicle snapshots. Despite that large number, officers have conducted fewer than 1,200 searches. Every one of those searches was conducted in connection with a law enforcement investigation, a criminal complaint, missing person case, warrant investigation, traffic crash investigation, or other legitimate report-related purpose. One area that flock cameras have had a significant impact is identifying vehicles with suspended registrations due to mandatory insurance violations. In 2025 alone, the Fulton Police Department stopped, cited, and removed approximately 92 vehicles from the roadway that were operating with suspended registrations due to mandatory insurance violations. Those enforcement actions represented safer roadways for the residents of Fulton, their families, friends, neighbors, and visitors. Every uninsured vehicle removed from the roadway reduces the risk that a law-abiding driver will become the victim of an uninsured crash. The goal is not punishment, the goal is prevention and public safety. The camera have also proven valuable in locating individuals with active warrants, recovering stolen vehicles, and assisting in criminal investigations. Perhaps even more important is the role these cameras play in locating missing and endangered persons. When a child goes missing, when an elderly person suffering from dementia wanders away, or when a vulnerable adult is believed to be in danger, every minute matters. Flock cameras are not designed to monitor where people go, who they associate with, or how they live their lives. They are a tool that helps law enforcement find missing people, recover stolen vehicles, identify wanted individuals, investigate crimes, and remove uninsured vehicles from our roadways. When used responsibly, they enhance public safety while maintaining the privacy and protection that our citizens expect and deserve. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
No, please stay up there, please.
Yep.
We'd like to ask you some questions. At least I would.
Yep.
You stated a number of approximately 2 million images taken, you stated this year?
Yep, just this year to date.
And you said approximately 1,200 enforcement actions.
Searches within the flock system.
Okay, so not necessarily 1,200.
A lot of mine, we've got warrants. We've had 140 searches so far this year for warrants. So what I do is if I get a vehicle that comes across the camera and it comes back, they have warrants, I will run that plate, and what that's gonna do is I'm looking for a timeline. Like, you know, their daily routine, like, okay, they come by at this time. So I try to, if I'm available, I will be out in that area around that time, because in that way
Can I please stop you real
Yes.
quick? You stated earlier in your statement that it doesn't track people's daily activities,
it doesn't track daily activities.
but you just said that you're looking for their daily activities of them driving by.
The system doesn't do it.
The
He
system
personally
doesn't,
has
I
to do it.
personally have to go in there and search.
It's
that
not like
license.
AI is telling you this person is gonna come through at this time.
I have to do the legwork behind it to find out, okay, where possibly could they be at this certain time? Because otherwise what we're relying on is whenever an alert comes in, my phone or the computer will go off, be like, hey, this vehicle just passed this camera, this is the license plate. So then I have to go into my computer, because all I have right now is a license plate. I don't have a driver, I don't have any identifiers, I don't know who owns the vehicle, all I got is it's a red SUV. So then I have to go into my CAD program, run that plate, I'll verify that plate, okay, yeah, it is suspended for mandatory insurance violation, oh look, it is also expired. So now I'm gonna go be looking for this red SUV because it's got expired and a suspended registration for no insurance. We stop it, verify insurance coverage, I'd say 75% of them don't have insurance coverage, so.
So you guys get a notification that a license has passed one of these flock cameras that's been associated with, say, a suspended license.
Well, it's the suspended registration, so it's suspended.
Excuse me.
So yeah, it won't tell me
Suspended.
license status, like.
Registration, excuse me, I know you're not talking about.
It won't tell you nothing about the individual at all.
Okay. Wouldn't it by default though tell you who the owner is, because it's gotta be registered to somebody?
The system does
The
not.
system does not.
Okay.
I have to manually go into our, what we call our.
So you take that information, go into a different system?
Yes.
And confirm, because the system could be wrong. If the system says that, say, a registration or a person has a warrant, if you don't confirm it, you can't. I mean, if it says the registered owner of a vehicle, so to speak, would be wanted, or that license plate is associated with a wanted person, I shouldn't say individual, you would still, the warrant might not even be valid. It might not even be any good.
Okay.
So the system is not capable of combining all these things, like where this AI, or where people think they're being tracked and all this stuff. The system isn't capable, the system we have access to is not capable of providing all that information.
Yeah.
What, you said, you were talking about the AI model camera.
Yeah, it'd be
You
the
said that's
Flock
Condor.
Condor, we don't-
What model do we use?
Falcon.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Could we ask Mr. Barber, since he brought this to our attention, if he had any questions to Steve?
I guess.
Well, I have a couple questions.
Oh, okay, you go first.
Well, not really,
Steve.
just more kind of like a comment or whatever, but, so if I don't have active tags, and that would show up when it,
You could be expired 10 years and we won't get an alert for it. The only alerts that we get are if the plate is, like the registered owner of the plate has active warrants, if it is suspended for mandatory insurance violation, if it's revoked due to the registered owner having a revoked driver's license, a missing person, a stolen plate, stolen vehicle.
And those are all entered by the state of Illinois. They're not entered by us. That's the state of Illinois enters those into the system.
Which
But it pulls up information of the owner.
No.
All I get is the plate itself. I have to run the plate through our county system, and then that gives me the registered owner's information.
But how would you know that you're getting an alert that owner has a warrant for his arrest, right?
So say that you had a warrant.
Yep.
So what we would do is be like, okay, I know what you drive. Myself would go in there, I would put your vehicle into what they call leads.
Okay.
With that license plate, like, hey, this person's got a warrant. And we would submit that. So anytime you would pass any of the flock cameras anywhere in the area, it would say, hey, this registered owner's got a warrant. But it wouldn't give your name. All it is giving is that plate number. So if you go to Sterling and you drive past one of theirs, like, hey, this vehicle's got a warrant, they have to go to the computer system, run it, and be like, okay, Zach's got a warrant, here's his identifiers, he's the registered owner, but they see it go by him and it's a female driving. Oh, yeah, okay, no, he's not in there.
So that was gonna be my next follow-up question. If you're not getting the personnel information.
I have to
and
manually.
you had a vehicle and you say you had a suspended license for whatever reason. And you know what, my sister's using my vehicle to go run errands for me. That's gonna register though, correct?
Yes, it'll still come back that that vehicle is associated with somebody that's got a warrant.
Okay.
So you go by and I happen to see inside, oh, look, it's a female driving. I know the person that's got the active warrant is a male, white, okay.
Okay. Are you aware of any incidences either here in town or nationwide of the flock camera misrecognizing different vehicles?
Oh, I've had them
misidentification?
misrecognize a plate. I mean, it'll read a B as an 8 or an 8 as a B. I mean, it even tells you at the bottom of the notice, like it'll say it could mix up a 0 and an O. That's why normally before I even do a flock stop, like if I get one that comes across, so what it does is it gives me an outward view of the vehicle with the license plate. It gives me the zoomed in of the license plate, and then I'll take that and I'll run that plate. And then it'll be like, oh, okay, well, it misread that because I know that's a 8, not a B.
Gotcha, okay.
So, I mean, just because, it misreads it, you know, then I'm not gonna make a traffic stop out of it, so.
How many, you stated 140, and could you clarify that what that 140 was? Was it warrants?
For warrants or fugitives, yeah.
Okay.
Just for Fulton that you did?
Yeah, that's just.
Yes.
Yes. That's not how many people we arrested, that's just how many times, so like, say.
How many times the flock aided?
That's how, yes,
Yes.
someone had to personally
There you go,
look.
that's
So like when I
for
go,
that.
yeah, so when I go on shift and then I'm off for my 3-day weekend and then I'm back out, you know, on Monday, be like, oh, I wonder, so I'm looking through, okay, this person hasn't been picked up yet. I'm gonna run this search quick, see if they've been back through town or not. And if they have, be like, okay, look, they were here. I'm gonna sit here and patrol tonight just in case they do happen to come back through.
But
I think it's
Flock has
possible.
changed their search criteria drastically since
Yes.
what Mr. Barber originally was talking about. They've changed their search criteria pretty drastically that when we first got the system a couple of years ago, it was pretty blanket. It was very, yeah, oh, I'm searching just for investigation. Now you cannot just search for investigation. You have to go.
Can we like see that part of the contract or something that they are actually accessing?
I can maybe give you a screenshot of what it looks like, but I mean, I could probably get you the contract, but I'm telling you how it is. I mean, when we go to look it up now, you have to put down the actual offense that you're searching for. That's how we can give you. So for every search that we've done out of the 1100, he's got a printout of exactly what those all were. So there's a sheet over there associated. We get about 12 to 15,000 flock reads a day.
Let me ask a different question for the flock contract. And I know we talked about the renewal just probably not even.
We got one
months
more
ago.
year left, yeah.
Rebecca, were you here when that went into effect?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so that would have been the former city attorney.
Bill Shirk's era.
Okay, alright. I'm just curious if there was any feedback back then, but again, that will go to that search that I would request.
And again, things have changed, like I said, that there was issues with previous, not our agency, so to speak, but there were, once Illinois became, was it safer now? What's it called, safer for Illinois?
I think so, yeah.
So where you can't share information with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. There's a lot of different stipulations that there's certain federal agencies that cannot have your information.
Sure.
So I mean, there's been a lot of different changes and all that stuff.
I would like to ask for 2 personal pieces of information for our next meeting, and then this can go to the public safety one too, if you want to take it, Keith, but how much money total we spent on the flock system for last fiscal year, and then the number of, and then
12,000.
12,000? You sure about that? Just want, I don't, that's what I'm saying, come back with this
They're 2,500,
information.
maybe 12,500, they were 2,500 a camera.
Okay, and then the total number of inquiries done by the police here in town?
I can, for year to date, 1,100.
1,145.
That was just prior.
January 1st to
Till just prior to.
whenever you ran that report. What was the number again, I'm sorry?
1,145.
1,145.
This calendar here.
Yes.
To date. So, a little less than 180 days.
Still would like to have Mr. Barry ask any questions.
within 28 categories.
What do you got, Alex?
Yeah, I have 2 questions. So you guys said you made 1,200 or 1,100, whatever, however many searches this year.
Yes.
As just Fulton Police Department making the search on the Fulton photos that were taken by our flock cameras. Is there a way, since DHS or federal isn't supposed to be able to access those or make
No,
searches?
Immigration and Customs Enforcement
Okay,
can't access.
immigrations and customs.
Can't access.
Is there a way that we can verify that? Cause there's been legitimate reports that they have been making those requests, like outside of Minneapolis or Chicago.
Well, Minneapolis would be a whole different state, that's a whole different rule.
Right, I understand, but the flock contract wouldn't allow immigrations and customs enforcement to make the requests of, like, per that city's contract. So can we verify that?
Yeah, I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, okay.
Again, like I said, this was all done prior to me, so
Yeah, that's totally fine.
definitely have to look at it.
Alex,
and then,
I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. If you want the contract, this is public record. You can put in a
Okay.
FOIA request for that.
okay, absolutely, thank you. And then second question, and this is, I don't have an answer, I don't know if anyone truly like has an answer in this room, but, so like establishing a pattern of life based on the information that the flock cameras gather, they don't aggregate that pattern of life. You guys would be aggregating that pattern of life, essentially.
So if I'm watching somebody and I get them come across flock, all I get is I know that they are in town. I can't tell you that they were down at Johnny's till bar close.
But you can make searches and find that?
No, not on flock. It would be me out on patrol being like, hey, look, there's a vehicle, I'll run the plate, look, they're there till bar close.
Okay.
So the thing is that me patrolling and, oh, look, there's an orange sticker on this plate, I know that's expired from last year, I'm gonna run it, verify that it's expired. In my line of work, I'm able to run the plates as I deem fit.
Sure.
So the thing is with flock, they're not gonna tell me that, oh yeah, they came into Fulton and they went over to this person's house, our known drug house, they were there for 2 hours and then they left and they went out this way. It is not keeping track of that. I have to manually go and be like, oh look, so that vehicle's at the drug house, I wonder where they came from, so I'll search it on flock. Like, oh look, they came across flock into town at this time, but they were only in town for 10 minutes and then they took off back out of town. So that's when it's gonna be put underneath drugs and narcotics investigation. Because it's like, okay, so we know this is a known drug house, we know what goes on here.
Right, and
flock doesn't do that. That is normal patrol work, that is getting the daily activities and knowing, who's visiting here and.
So is that when you search, say you know the license plate and that's your search criteria, so to speak? And then
underneath it, it asks me if what offense type. So I've got 28 separate offense types that I gotta put it down as. And if I'm investigating drugs and if I happen if I got an open case for a drug investigation, that case number gets attached to that flock.
For that license plate?
For that search.
Okay, so if you were to search a license plate and it comes back with 80 hits on the cameras and it shows you 80 pictures of that license plate through all of
in and out of Fulton quite a bit there,
Right.
because it only stores at 30 days. I can't go back 30 more days.
Okay.
As soon as 30 days hits,
Is
all that
that
data is
not
deleted.
a pattern of life search?
It wouldn't be a pattern of life.
How would it not be?
Because, well, here's the other thing I can do is that it gives us options. Okay, do I wanna know the last 12 hours? Do I wanna know the last 24 hours? Do I wanna know the last 7 days? So, but what
For the last 7 days of what though? I mean, like that would imply you wanna know the last 12 hours or the last 7 days, or the last 30 days of their pattern of life.
where this
Without a warrant.
where this license plate has hit on. Because I have a valid reason to know what.
But no warrant to do.
You don't need one because
I don't
you're
have
on a
a
public-
license.
you're on a public road, which is not a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
But Carpenter says establishing a pattern of life.
The system isn't, that's the officer establishing that.
Right, and the officer falls under.
Uses a tool.
The officer still falls under the
Suspicion for a
fourth.
drug investigation.
No, not for a pattern of life investigation.
That's fine.
It's a warrant requirement, which you guys would fall under the Fourth Amendment requirement for a warrant for pattern of life, according to the Supreme Court.
Hardly seen it in Illinois yet.
But what's
I'm
the
not
other
saying
thing
you're
is
wrong, but I haven't
that,
seen it in Illinois yet.
I can clarify
Rebecca has something.
some information about the Carpenter case. So that was a case from 2018 where law enforcement had retroactively obtained a suspect's cell site location information, CSLI data,
Which would be.
from the carrier, and it was over 12,000 pings on cell towers, over 101 pings per day, and they were using that to triangulate that he had been in the area of certain robberies that had taken place over a period of time. So the Supreme Court ruled in that particular case that because a cell phone is basically carried on the person, that they were essentially tracking him because they could track anywhere he went, whether he was on a public thoroughfare or not, based on the pings. They limited it to the CSLI data. They did not extend it to any other technology. And
So
every
Carpenter's not
court,
valid in this situation.
every court that has reviewed these cameras, save one, which was a state court, and that's the case that's references email, it's a state case, not a federal case, has said that it is not a Fourth Amendment violation. That includes the Northern District of Illinois, which is the district that we are in. There is a federal case that was decided in Norfolk, Virginia, earlier this year, where the federal judge says it is not a Fourth Amendment, that's being appealed to the Fourth Circuit of Court of Appeals. Supreme Court has not addressed these cameras at all. Traditionally, the exterior of a car, license plate, not considered, it's in public view, so it's not considered to require a warrant.
Interesting.
because I can't verify who's driving the car.
Right.
All I'm doing is I'm monitoring this car or a vehicle that I'm thinking is okay, this person's, multiple times at the drug house, so I'm gonna be investigating this, so I'm investigating a crime. But I'm still not gonna be able to get the ID of the person. All I got is a vehicle. So, I mean, the vehicle is not a personal object that, anybody can drive that car, right?
Rebecca, can I ask a question for you a second?
Yeah.
So in Mr. Barber's email, it states that Supreme Court holding in United States versus Jones that law enforcement cannot track a vehicle's movement without a warrant.
Also not accurate. The United States versus Jones, that's a case that goes back quite a way. That was an instance where federal law enforcement had obtained a warrant to attach a GPS tracker to the vehicle of the wife of a suspect in a drug case. They didn't attach it within the time frame that they had. They were supposed to attach it within 10 days. They didn't attach it to the 11th day. So what the Supreme Court held is because they had physically intruded upon the vehicle by attaching the GPS monitor after the warrant was expired, that was a violation of the Fourth Amendment because they had physically intruded. For it to be a violation of the Fourth Amendment, you either have to make a physical intrusion onto a person or their property, or it has to be a situation where the person would have had a reasonable expectation of privacy that would be recognized by society. So what the courts have previously said is that there's no expectation of privacy in your license plate number because it is attached to your vehicle, it's in plain view.
Okay.
That's what they've said so far. The Supreme Court has not addressed these particular cameras at this point.
And then, the stuff that you hear growing up, what's the rule, or has there been a court case related to the amount of time a police vehicle can follow a vehicle?
Nope.
No? So you could theoretically follow a vehicle on a public road all day. That's how you chose to spend our tax dollars.
Right, you could. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's another point, is that instead of having a camera there, Officer Lucha could sit there every morning at 8 a.m. and watch every car go by.
I could run every plate.
But, yeah.
I think what we can do is we can review the contract and see if that verbiage was in there that Mr. Barber had requested we look at, and we can review that and make sure we're following it to our standards.
I can double check our system to make sure we are not sharing with any agencies that are not supposed to be shared with.
You're welcome to come back in the morning and request that. Okay. That way you can get a copy of the contract. Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you, Mr. Boostra.
Yes, appreciated knowing that.
All right, next we have the Finance Committee meeting minutes. on page 59.
So I'll jump in here real quick. A lot of the stuff we talked to and voted on, specifically the action item listed on, well, very bottom of page 59, but it continues over to 60. We voted on accepting the Pitt National Bank. I do need to make a correction though, and I don't know why I put this in my notes or if my transcription software took it away from me, but Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not First Central Bank, it was Central Bank of Fulton that had it. So that is a correction I need to have noted. Tori, if you could, please. I don't think there's a ton of stuff that wasn't discussed in our last meeting about this, but you know, as we've talked about with the MSA presentation coming up, some of that stuff will naturally be guided after we get that feedback in that master plan. As far as priorities for capital.
Okay.
Any word on the EPA loan approval?
We were hoping to have it last week, and the EPA came back and said that what we consider regular maintenance to be on the water tower, changing the vent over to a bigger vent, which is now the new standard. They do not consider that to be regular maintenance, so we had to have Shane come in Friday, sign a couple things, but they got it back today. So hopefully they should have everything they need so we can get this moving forward.
What's the new ETA? Are we looking at August? Don't know yet.
Don't know yet.
Okay. Again, the same concern I had before is proper notification of the 4th Street impacted businesses so we can route people around. I would like to put our signs back up when the time comes.
I've had a couple of people ask, but unfortunately I don't have a good update for them yet.
But that was a key move, getting the approval from the EPA, right? I mean, that was.
Well, that's who the loan is coming from. So yeah, we have to follow their guidelines to a T.
Did you have anything else, Zach? Any questions for Zach? All right, next is Economic Development Committee meeting minutes. Sue's not here. Barb, can you speak to these?
Just the good news about Darla Heisman Burks, L-B-I-R-K-S, has moved into 1108. She started out over here in 1006, which was small, and she knew she could only stay there a while, but she has signed an agreement with Dean and Sanella, who are the current owners of the Branch House, and they own that building. Their lease was up, so this was just a perfect timing for Darla to be able to move in the bigger space, and we're thrilled to have her there, and it's good news for us to have a new business there and right across the street from another busy place, so we're happy about that, and we have relatively new business out in the strip mall, paper supply journal, and she's doing real well out there also. She too wants to come downtown, so hopefully we can make that happen for her. We still would like to get, even though the year's about half over now, we still would like to have a 250 flag up out here in front of City Hall and also down at the windmill. Our July 16th, 4th of July celebrations in Fulton on July 16th will all be held down on First Street, so it'd be nice to have a 250 flag up there. We've talked about amongst ourselves having a statement and function statement about ourselves and how we function. I understand there's 3 Airbnbs in Fulton, and we certainly would like to tap into them for sure to get our hotel motel tax. I don't know what the process is. Somebody told me from Savannah it happens automatically, that when somebody gets a permit from the state to be an Airbnb, so we ought to be able to track that then to see if money's coming in, but I think that's important if we have them. Our tourism team has met, and the Northwest Tourism Board is meeting in Fulton. They have a Zoom meeting every quarter, and they haven't been to Fulton for a while. So the director up there had called me and said, could you host us? And so we are. They're going to have a lunch themselves, and hold their meeting in our conference room tomorrow. And then they want to visit 2 of the attractions while they're here, so they will visit the windmill and the culture center. So we're very happy to have them here.
That's tomorrow?
Yeah, it is tomorrow. And he sent me an agenda of what he would like to have while they're here. And then we just thought we'd put the marina on our committee so we could kind of keep up and any information we'd have that we could be a source of gathering information and presenting or doing whatever. Next meeting is July 6th. Matt Parks also attended our meeting this meeting, and we're always glad when we can get him because he's in charge of the tourism over at Grove. Any questions?
I do have a question. I don't know if it's necessarily related to the economic development, but I know you're kind of helping to push this through the veteran flags for downtown. Did they move forward with that?
We have them all up at 1.
Okay.
Right?
We have up what we had.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a duplicate and I don't know what the status is.
We had 2 of one person and none of one. And so we were just off a little bit, but the brackets are up now in front of the post office.
Okay.
So those are up and we're still just missing one. And I don't know how that happened. That was between the owner, the person purchasing, and the person making the banner. We were out of the loop. It wasn't anything that we had any control or input on. So they're up and we're thrilled.
The motivation for that question was I was driving north on 84 and I saw the Thompson one.
74.
And
They have 74 up.
So the thing that surprised me was I thought it would be on the main drag there in not Highway 84. And they're all on the power poles on 84.
Yes, they got permission from Joe Carroll
Our electric
Energy
company
to
won't
use
allow
their
us to use
utility.
them.
Yeah,
No.
Joe Carroll had those utilities and they gave permission for Thompson to do it. We tried with Commonwealth Edison. First person Sue talked to said yes, but then corporate office said no.
Okay, I was
We were gonna
just,
have-
again,
Savannah's
curious.
got them on 84 too.
Pardon me?
Savannah's got them on 84
Yeah,
too.
but they're in a different
County.
utility.
I
Well, the
figured that
utility company gave permission for them, but we couldn't get it here. We would have liked to have that done.
Yeah, that was my curiosity.
Just one other thing, I just want to tell you, we had a program in the museum, or in the cemetery Sunday honoring veterans, and it was on Flag Day. And the American Legion, 2 of the members did the flag folding ceremony. And every fold has a significant meaning, and as many times as I've watched that happen, either on TV or in live, I've never seen it before, nor have I ever heard it read. It was really impressive. So grateful to the Legion who offered to do that. And we really wanted to have that added to our program on the 6 Fallen Heroes.
Zach, I know your minutes were, like we had discussed previous council meeting on most of that.
Yeah, no.
Barb, do you have something on these minutes for the next council agenda?
Just getting the flags up.
Do you have the, like, price or quote or where we're getting them from?
I certainly can get that to you.
Anyone else? Next is Historical Society, the Martin House Museum Financial Report.
Everything's going well for us. We're still hoping to get the driveway fixed because that becomes a walkway for people coming in and out. So we're hoping this summer that we can get the driveway. Eric and Logan have looked at that and agree that it needs to be done. So that's top of the list.
Is that a summer? Are you doing that this year, Logan? Okay. Any questions about Martin House?
Everything going well.
Any alderperson comments?
I have a comment. So I know that we've been behind on the treasurer's report matching up with the budget to actual. I was kind of expecting to see the April treasurer's report though.
Me too.
Since it's, 2 months out or 2, however you want to look at it.
I thought she emailed that one to you.
I got the final PTA.
Yeah.
I don't think I got the final treasurer's report though.
I know her and Amanda were going back and forth on a couple of things.
Okay. Okay, and
Because we've started the audit, so we'll have to have all that information to them as well.
okay, and I was just looking for a final number, and the thing that I could just keep on coming back to the council on is, you know, our reserves are, have dropped almost $2 million overall over the last 2 years, and I was waiting to get the final number so I could state that, but
Well, almost 2 million of that went straight to the downtown, so.
yep.
Just on the Alderman report. We'll talk next, but Shane and I went to a meeting that DECO had on Thursday,
Oh, yes.
and so it's not time sensitive, so we'll just talk to you about that next time.
I only have one quick question, and actually this is for Chad. The sign is down over on 14th, past the midwifery place.
Oh, on the right hand side.
Yeah, is that
That's a state sign. We'll have to let the state know. We can't mess with it.
okay? Cause it's been down for a few days.
I think it's located.
Yeah,
Okay.
So they must be getting ready to replace it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's nothing the city can do about it.
Okay, just was curious.
Okay, one more question that actually brought up is, when's Comcast doing their thing down 15th Avenue? I thought that was.
They're done.
Oh, they're done? Oh, well,
Yeah, they did that back in April, I think. Yeah.
oh, they were very quick then.
Where were
I
you?
thought I would see them on the bridge, running fiber.
2 weeks, maybe.
Boy, which a lot of other, we need that crew to be doing everybody else's tunneling underneath town.
Logan, how often do we clean up the bike path?
I don't know. We'll get it done this week though.
Weather permitting. This week.
Weather permitting, yeah.
Anyone else?
Your game started at 7.
Say again.
Nothing. It's irrelevant.
Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah, cause there's just a FOIA for it.
It's pretty simple. It's
Fun, huh?
Actually, you got a couple minutes?
So, you'll get a box here.